Hey guys, welcome to Three-Man Weave, live from the Ford Center. Nice little press box here for the IDS, box number 4 atop the Ford Center here. 94-73, the Hoosiers record their first road win in 664 days. Last time was Penn State, 67-61, January 21st, 2010. An offensive clinic right here at the Ford Center. Guys, Tom Crean said after the Stony Brook game that he had 7 starters. Of those 7, if you include Derek Elston and Will Sheehy, they combined for 87 to 94 points. They all had at least 8 points tonight. Balance was the name of the game, and everybody got involved in the act.
I mean, it was huge. I have never seen a performance like this where it was just so balanced. I mean, you look at the starting lineup, and there wasn't one guy that had a bad game. I mean, you could maybe make the claim that Oladipo didn't have the offensive numbers that he's had in these first 2 games so far. But, you know, that's kind of tough to live up to considering what he's been able to do. But, yeah, really just solid all-around offensive performance. When you have 4 starters in double figures like that, you got guys coming in off the bench like Sheehy, also in double figures tonight. Really impressive to see the way that they responded. And they did it early. They didn't wait. They didn't have a slow start offensively. They got after Evansville early. Didn't let this crowd get into it. It was really, really big to see a performance like that.
Both Tom Crean and his players said this is the best they've ever seen a Tom Crean team play, and I think both of you would agree with that, would you?
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it was in all facets of the game. I mean, even in the things that don't show up on the stat sheet, like hustle, you know, like a fluidness, I guess, if that's even a word, to the offense. Okay, it is. Okay, well, we're going to count it. You know, it just looked like Indiana was just in total control, and they were clicking on all cylinders, offense, defense. You know, if they had special teams in basketball, I'm sure Indiana would be kicking it butt in that too. So, you know, like Connor said, it's just an all-around incredible effort.
And we should mention Victor Oladipo. Yeah, he only had 8 points, but he again got the assignment of the other team's best player. Colt Ryan was held for 1 for 6 in the first half for 4 points.
Did nothing.
I mean, yeah, it did.
He shut down.
I believe he ended the game maybe with 17, but again, it was a very quiet 17.
They put in the reserves in the second half, too.
13 of those came after halftime. Guys, the guy who's kind of been under the radar for the first 2 games, Christian Watford, I believe he had 9 points through the first 2 games of the season. Tonight, looked like he was fully healthy from that ankle injury and really kind of silenced those early critics that have kind of been hounding his game early on.
And I was one of those critics, I'll be honest. I had a post yesterday on Hoosier Hype, as you may have read, you know, questioning whether or not if Elston kept emerging in this offense and if Watford stayed the way he was playing these first 2 games, whether or not Crean was going to have a debate to start Elston. And tonight, Watford put those claims to bed because he came out, had 15 points, 8 rebounds, had his best game by far of the season. He was the Christian Watford that we are used to seeing at IU, and really he was confident in the 3-point game, was able to penetrate, create his own shot like he did last year, was physical on the inside, was able to kick it out on times when he didn't get the shot that he wanted, wasn't forcing anything. Really impressive performance by Christian Watford.
And I think, though, is while Watford had a reawakening, I think a little bit, too, was Verdell Jones, who I think you could say, honestly, is my MVP of the game. I mean, this guy comes out with tied a career high with 4 3-pointers, 4 for 4 from beyond the arc, ended up with 17 points and 7 assists, and just a great all-around game from Verdell Jones. And, you know, he was putting in those points before, but he really wasn't the centerpiece, and I felt like tonight he was.
24 assists on 33 field goals for the Hoosiers. Those numbers are
team basketball, folks.
Tom Crean credited after the game, saying it's the second time in the first 3 games that they've had over 24 assists in a game. Guys, the crowd here tonight looked to be, to me, about 50-50, 60-40. IU, you know, a lot of red mixed in with the purple and orange. Do you guys consider this? Yes, it is a road win in the sense coming to a different arena, but obviously down the road when they go to Raleigh to face NC State and then the Big Ten Conference, where do you guys classify this in terms of, was it more of just Evansville maybe not being the test that we thought after being Butler on Saturday, or do the Hoosiers deserve a lot of credit for this game?
Well, I mean, yes, this is the first road win in almost 2 years, so you have to give it something. I wasn't really impressed with Evansville. Evansville made a lot of mistakes early, wasn't really able to get the crowd involved, and the crowd, especially the PA announcer, who literally blew up our eardrums.
He was louder than the student section, all 15 of them.
And, you know, so I wouldn't say it's a true road atmosphere. They're not going to see an atmosphere like this in the Big Ten. But, you know, it's something, and it's it's a floor that is an assembly hall, and I think that's
start somewhere.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's a good step, an important step for them to make moving into college.
And isn't that what this program's been all about?
Yep.
It's something. You know, it's at least taking that step. And, you know, it's basically the focal point of my column was this was one test they had. They're going to have a lot throughout the year, and we're going to see what this team is made of. This is something, but it's not everything. So definitely we'll see what this team's really made of, as you guys were saying, on what do we have?
Saturday, Savannah State.
Well, Saturday's Savannah State, but I'm looking down at the 30th.
Right.
Well, I'm looking at the 30th at NC State. I think that's going to be their first real test, and we'll see what that team's made of then.
A couple other numbers. The 24-point halftime lead was the biggest since 2000 when Bob Knight was at the helm.
Good times.
40 points in the paint for the Hoosiers. Probably a lot of that is due to Evansville really not having any post presence.
Tallest guy, 6'8".
Whatsoever, and he only played 8 minutes, I believe, Matt Peeler.
Oh, and you're 6'8", I think.
Yeah, I definitely have the wingspan of a D1 athlete. So
forcing the post.
We're wrapping up here from the Ford Center. It's getting late. It's almost
so tired.
It's almost into Thursday morning here, but this is a very nice arena. Some really the only positive I can think of from Evansville tonight. It's a very nice arena here.
God.
We'll see if they will fill it up anymore this year, but definitely a solid start for the Hoosiers, 3-0, and like we mentioned, their first road win in about 18 months. So for Avi Zalen, Connor O'Gara, I'm Kevin Bowen. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you on Saturday night from Summit Hall.
So much for not sleeping on the Aces.